Now we are recording.
Sir. Uh, what? Yeah. No, I. So yeah, there's a lot. Something that I've been thinking about a lot lately was like again like how nice it is to like to have good friendship
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just reflecting on what shifted. Remember we talk about keeping it transactional and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and then how I had shared so interestingly enough, like when I remember to keep things transactional, it's easier. In fact, I have a better time with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I had a long time conditioning of, I don't know how else to put it, like taking friendship very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I look back, I mean, we said this a lot, right? We said looking for love at all the wrong places,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, it has a lot to do with like, oh, is this the friend that I can, wholeheartedly say, oh, this is my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I start putting on expectation on how this best friend should be like, or yada yada. It's also very funny when I think about it. I'm basically signing a contract for them, like without they even knowing. Like, hey, you sign this contract. Oh yeah, what sort of friend you should be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all this weird show going on.
Right.
And right, I mean, I was lucky to have several very good friends in my life. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
before practicing the Dhamma and all that. But I also suffer a lot in a sense that, like, oh, when they don't match this expectation that I don't even know that was played in my mind. I think this is a key point. Like, I don't even know that I'm doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually very interesting because, I mean, if you know, you know. Like, this is such a good news. Like, oh, I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one who is doing that. And then even
Yes.
saying that word is such a huge relief. Like, this is the thing, right? The whole show, I mean, we can call this ignorance right there. The
Mm-hmm.
whole show is thinking this is something external being done on you.
Yeah.
We even the notion of karma, like, I mean, the Buddha talk
Mm-hmm.
about karma, but again, if one doesn't practice in the noble way and see what it is really trying to say, you feel helpless to it. Oh, this
Right.
is my karma, this is some external karma machine. And like even the Buddha explicitly said that. It's like just to chime in real quickly, like the Buddha said, hey, you know, um, you know, I mean, yeah, like the Buddha when the Buddha became Buddha and he started teaching the noble Dhamma and stuff, he even go around argue with people about this. There's a type of teaching back in India, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is your karma and you just have to deal with it, like GG, like good game, well played, like you're done, good luck in next life and shit like that. And then the Buddha said, you know how fucking dangerous the teaching is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have any idea what the hell you're doing? Because the moment someone pick up this belief,
Yep.
which is another a wrong view.
Mm-hmm.
When people pick up this belief, they become helpless.
They're trapped.
They become like, oh, this is my destiny. I'm fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then the Buddha explicitly say, whatever karma that's being based upon you, like you can change right here, right now.
Yep.
And just to chime in real quickly, like you hear this a lot. Like this is a very common saying, like like fortune tellers and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
they, whether you believe in fortune telling or not, one thing that's very interesting is like they say, like my watch, like worst customer or worst client is anyone that practice Buddhism or meditation,
Yep.
right? Because fortune teller is trying to say, hey, I can see your destiny, I can see where this is going.
Hmm.
But if you practice what the Buddha is saying, you change your destiny. Like not in a magical way. It's like,
Right.
hey, wherever this is going, you can pay attention, you can change. So the fortune teller, like cannot tell where the hell, like he could see that, oh, this is something bad is going to happen to you. But if you pay attention right now and you keep paying attention, you, it's not, like the basically say, well, like I can't trick you, I can't influence you
Yeah.
and shit like that.
You could say that you
So
become
yeah,
unpredictable.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So, yeah, actually, I just find it funny how I talk about friendship and then suddenly to karma and all that. But yeah, so yeah, I guess the theme that I was trying to talk about is just this um the magical thinking of this is something external placed upon you,
Hmm.
like you feel helpless in uh friendship or relationship or a relationship with your parents or whatever that is, right? Again, I guess this is the funny thing. It's so subtle. You don't even know it. You don't even know this is something you're doing. You are constructing a fucking weird story about
Hmm.
them, about yourself, and about the comparison between these two, you and them. Like
Hmm.
this is absurdity. You don't see that you are doing this uh, thinking and
Because you're
stuff
spinning.
like that. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Right,
Yeah, you're spinning. And that's why we
right.
talk so much about relaxation. That's why we talk so much about calming. That's why we talk so much about slowing down. Because when you're in full spin, full tilt,
Mm-hmm,
you're stuck thinking action and result, action and result. This is the only way that it can be. When you calm down, when
mm-hmm,
you relax, when you let those activities cease, then it's clear to see that, oh, those are activities.
mm-hmm.
Those are things that I'm doing, like you're talking about. Those are actions that are being taken. To include the action of dividing things up, saying this is mine and I have it, or I don't have it, or I can or I can't. These are those kinds of thoughts that we're talking about. Two kinds of thoughts: thoughts of victimhood, thoughts of freedom, thoughts of bondage, thoughts of liberation.
Mm-hmm.
We have one type of thought that leads to the end of thought. We have one type of thought that leads to more and more thought.
Mm, mm. I basically think of like it's like rolling down the hill. Like if you, I don't know why it just comes to mind. Like when you roll, I mean, in the moment as the momentum pick up, you're gonna roll faster. That's the
Yeah.
thought that leads to more thoughts.
Yeah.
But if you hold on to something, take it easy.
Mhm.
Maybe slow down and then bump into something, and they say, oh, you don't have to keep rolling.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not even sure how that
Okay.
makes sense. It's just a funny,
Right?
right?
Change the way that we're
Yeah.
moving. Yeah, and that's the idea, is that we slow it down. That's the idea of the wholesome thinking. That we slow it down, that we calm it down. Wholesome thinking, satisfied thinking, content thinking, thoughts of simplicity, being happy, letting stuff go. All of these are great thoughts to have. They're the kinds of thoughts that we want to cultivate and develop and repeat often. The kinds of thoughts that lead to
Mm,
peace, well-being,
right,
non-harm, non-ill
right.
will. Yeah, and so when we see that kind of stuff, we can see why it's never going to end with more hate. People, oh, I'll stop hating myself when dot dot dot. It's not ever going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to come along and make you stop hating yourself. Nothing's going to come along and make you start doing something different. It just will not happen. Have to do it yourself. Have to take responsibility
Right,
for it. Have to take a look. Have to see, oh yeah, this is me. This is mine. I can do this. I got it. I'm on top of it. Not a problem. I can swoop it out right now, along with the me and the mind that goes with it. It's not
Right.
your responsibility to clean up others' messes, and it's not your fault there's a mess here now, but it's, we could say, a duty to the Dhamma to clean it up.
Right. Yeah, I really love the the notion of duty to the Dhamma. It's there's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, and anytime we see those selfish thoughts, me and mine, oh, this is me, this is mine, and we clean them out, we don't have to worry about the stuff that's attached with them anymore. There's no more attachment.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just a matter of wakefulness, a matter of watching, a matter of understanding that this is a better way to go, that it's better to let go than it is to grasp. It's a better
Mm,
way to spend the time right here and right now, letting go, than it is to grasp more.
mm, exactly. I yeah, it's so great, right? Like when you have the sangha, and like you and me here, we share wholesome thought with one another. I mean, talking about the noble dharma is the wholesome thought itself,
Mm-hmm.
and you soak in that. I'm not sure if I can call it good
Hmm. Makes sense to me.
conditioning. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
conditioning implies, yeah, it makes sense to me too. So as you keep having that over and over, I mean, first of all, you're getting away from the
Mm-hmm.
from the bad crowds
Mm-hmm.
of society and stuff. And then again, it's not that we are blaming them for, oh,
Right.
because of that I feel bad. No, it's like this is like how we talk about it, right? Like, hey, this is the better way to spend one's time. This is worth it. It just yeah, it's so helpful because you so I understand this is not a popular saying, at least not in this Dhamma Friends server. But for me, it's really wholesome because I see that again and again. I understand clearly in my heart. Practicing Dhamma is like going against the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the stream of society.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said this a lot. I really like that. It's like the world wants you to die mad. They want you to, yeah. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the only way. Right? It is just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. That's just how things are.
It's such a bullshit when you practice a noble dharma, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a bullshit if you practice a noble dharma. You just know you can smell it miles away. It's like no, that's not how things are the way it is. That you have a choice here.
Mm-hmm.
The choice to be a victim or the choice to be above it. Like, so it's going against the stream of society in a sense that the way I see it again and again, like society want you to be stressed out. It wants you to be like we talk about this a lot, which is oh, if you're not angry, it means you're not paying attention. That stupid saying like that.
Yes, that's
And then
right.
over here, right over here, we are saying no. I'm not angry because I pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
It's
much
so
nicer that way.
hilarious.
So you can catch all the
Uh,
attempts by the mind to try and pour fuel onto the embers. Just, oh, we don't have to do that right now. Oh, we're already okay. We don't have to do that. I don't have to get all mad about that. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it.
mhm,
I don't have to do anything with it at all.
mhm,
It's already good enough just like it is.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm,
That's much cooler.
right.
Much cooler. Much less heat.
Much less hit.
Very calm. And like we were talking about earlier, when things get very calm, we can see very clearly that there's no reason to dump the fuel on it. Things just become more simple, more clear. So if we can
Mm-hmm.
stop the spinning, and the spinning also makes a lot of what we could call noise, like we were talking about in the server yesterday, a lot of signal
Mm-hmm.
to noise ratio. So for the Dhamma signal to punch through the noise of the mind and clean things up, it takes repetition.
Mm. Mm.
That's how we can improve that signal to noise ratio. That's why we talk about practicing often.
Mm.
Practicing having wholesome thoughts on purpose, one after another, as often as we can remember to.
Mm.
Because very clearly, what one thinks about repeatedly becomes the inclination of one's mind.
Mm.
Becomes a habit. So, like they
Mm.
say, we want to have the habits that don't hurt, the habits that don't suck, the habits that don't bring forth harm. So one of those habits that we cultivate early and often is the habit of thinking those wholesome thoughts again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing them with others is another way. I mean, that's a natural outcome of thinking the wholesome thoughts one after another is sharing them through our
Mm-hmm.
speech and our actions. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really wonderful because all we ever have to concern ourselves with is this thought right now. We don't have to worry about anything else. It really is that incredibly simple.
Right.
So when
Right.
we stop complicating things and we start to go ahead and bring ourselves to right here, right now, which is all we've ever had anyways, nothing changes. It's not earth shattering. It's the same old thing as
Right.
before. It's quite simply that we're paying
Right.
attention to what we're doing right here and right now, and we're looking and we're paying attention wisely. And to pay attention wisely is to see the dukkha, see the dissatisfaction, see the stress, see the suffering, see the pain, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and then make a change. Without that
Right.
second part, all it does is the same old thing. More dukkha.
Right.
So we don't want to tolerate
Right.
those thoughts. We want to toss those thoughts out. We want to be done with them. We want to abandon them. As soon as we
Right.
see them, we want to abandon them. That's the kind of wakefulness that we want to practice having. And we practice it by
Right.
having it right now. Oh yeah, are we wakeful right now? Are we watching right now? Are we here right now? Is it now right now? What are we doing? How is the mind moving? Is it quick? Is it scattered? What kind of thoughts are
Right.
present?
Right.
How
Exactly.
Yeah, tell me
And
more.
and it's so interesting because everything you just said in your way of speaking, that's satipatthana right there.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it is. I really love how over here we talk about this, the Dhamma in a language that's very casual.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes, yeah, because for people that has not, I don't know, like hear about the noble Dhamma in the local tongue, as you say, it can be
Hmm.
it can look very daunting sometimes. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
is so complicated. And it's like over here we simplify it. Hey, like look what the mind is doing right now. Look what
Yeah.
is, like you said, what uh look, how do you say it just now, like the
Oh,
now in
how
the
is it moving? What kind of thoughts are here?
yeah,
What mood is present? Yeah.
exactly.
Is it here or is it
Yeah,
off elsewhere? Yeah.
right,
Can I bring it back right
right.
now? How quickly can I get it collected? How glad can I make it
Mm,
in this moment? That's one thing that people get really into with the practice of anapanasati is they'll talk about, well, how does one gladden the mind? It's really easy. We're talking about the thinking mind reaching in with wholesome thoughts and gladdening the heart, the
mm,
feeling mind. That's really all that we're talking about. It's not complicated, like you said. And again, that's part of the satipatthana, like you talked about. Can we gladden the mind?
mm,
Gladdening the mind is part of satipatthana. And that's why anapanasati establishes and fully develops the satipatthana. It's the one thing we can do that brings forth those four things, those four establishments of remembering of the body. It's one thing. Hey, how am I sitting right now? What's my posture like? How am I breathing? Is it short? Is it long? What is it like?
mm,
What's happening? Where can I relax? That's our body. That's
mm,
the form or the material portion
mm,
of Satipatthana. Remember to look at that. That's what Satipatthana is saying. Remember to look at this. And same with the
mm,
feeling. Pleasant, painful, mixed. What's here? What is it
mm.
like? Recognition, the
I
perceptions,
also
same.
right. I also like this every what you was just saying so much was because um so let me cook here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where this is going. Uh, so usually when people practice this, they I don't know how else to say it. They can't. They It's very subtle. Like, oh, I'm gonna do all this so I can get rid of my dukkha, which is you can say it's not really a bad thing because you are um, passionate about the Four Noble Truth, I guess. But the way you were speaking about that just now is like an invitation to
Yeah.
you are you are just I don't know how else because we understand very clearly it's just this. Like this is the only thing that is worthwhile
Yes.
paying attention to, taking care of, and making a wholesome change. Because when we see it on this level, there's no how should I say this sort of I don't know like overly what's that word? Sorry, what like too much. I don't know, paranoia. What's that word? I can't pick it out right now. Like hypervigilance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hypervigilance.
Okay.
Like people hypervigilance, like because because they want to get rid of the dukkha, but that's like done in a way that's not with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually fueling the aversion
Mm-hmm.
because there was an attitude right there, and then I cannot handle this.
Yep.
Like quick. Um, but they don't see this very subtle underlying tendency is fueling the fire. But
Mm-hmm.
you get what I'm saying here?
Yes, they do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll do that or
Yeah.
they'll try to chop it up. Oh, first I'm going to look at the body, then I'm going to look at the feeling, then I'm going to look at the. But all those things are here right now. So, like you're saying
Mm,
about looking at it like that, they'll try to chop it up or they'll get very involved in, this idea that I have to do this or else. So then it becomes another rule, it becomes another rite or ritual. And we know that those are just disappointing because they never get rid of the feeling that they want to get or get more of the feeling that they want to get. They're always mixed. And that's why in
mm,
OCD problems, where someone flip a light switch 10 times, it's not the thought that's ever the problem, it's the feeling. It's being a slave to the feeling, not understanding the feeling, because you flip the light switch
mm,
10 times to get rid of the painful feeling. So if you're doing
mm.
satipatthana like that, like OCD tick, then you can't get rid of any sort of thing because you're just generating more fear.
Right.
You're moving from a fearful place, like you were talking about, a place of not being able to handle it. Oh, if a painful feeling came, I just couldn't take it. I would just die.
Right.
And we know that's crazy because there's lots of painful feeling, lots of pleasant feeling, a lot of mixed
Right.
feeling, many kinds of
Right.
feeling. And they're just that, they're just feeling. So, like you were saying, we see that it's just this. Hey, this is what's important. This is what's valuable. This is what doesn't hurt. This is what doesn't suck. This is what
Right.
stops hurting right now and makes it so that no more hurting comes in the future. So it doesn't matter what comes next. We don't have to worry about it because we know that right now we have wakefulness, we have watchfulness, we have um, energy, determination,
Right.
confidence. And so that's the thing that happens when the Satipatthana are established is then the seven factors of enlightenment come about. They start to become
Right.
established and they start to become developed. So as you can see, it's a very simple process. It's, anapanasati is the one thing the Buddha talked about that leads to the establishment and fulfillment of those four things. Oh yeah, look at that. Everything's
Right.
inconstant. I can do this. All I ever have to deal with is right now. Oh yeah, I got a
Right.
good attitude. So this is our satipatthana. We're doing this satipatthana. We're seeing it. It's established. We're remembering to look at these things. And because of that, we have confidence. We have tranquility. We have energy or vigor or whatever you want to call it. We have mindfulness. We have
Mm,
remembering. So all 7 of these
Mhm.
factors of enlightenment, they come up right then and there, and they begin to be developed.
Right.
And the more repeatedly that we remember to look at, that we remember to establish and reestablish the satipatthana, the 4 establishments of remembering, which is what anapanasati does. It's what the Buddha says. This practice right here of anapanasati establishes satipatthana and fully develops it. And so each time that we do that, bam, 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 then we're cultivating and developing the awakening factors, the 7 factors of awakening. And what those lead to are
Right.
knowledge and vision, knowledge and release, knowledge and liberation. Because that
Right.
is the Noble Eightfold Path brought to fulfillment, is the arising of right knowledge and right liberation. So Anapanasati is such a good way to think about it. And we don't have to do it as a rite and a ritual, like you were saying. It's actually fun to do. I get a lot of joy out of not hurting myself. I get a lot of
Right.
joy
Right.
out of not hurting
Right.
myself and out of seeing that I'm not doing it. So it's actually not even anything
Right.
that is a pain to do. It's not a painstaking process. There's nothing to slug through. It's actually very beautiful all the way through each time
Right.
that we do it. Yeah. So
Right.
Anapanasati being the one thing that brings forth those 4 things, those satipatthana, and that bringing forth those 7 things, the sambojjhanga, the 7 factors of awakening. That's how it goes. That's the practice right there. And it's so simple, easy
Right.
peasy. A caveman could do it. 1, 2, 3. Lather, rinse, repeat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Uh, yeah, man, there's so many things I wanted to say. It's so, man, I'm so grateful for like coming across the Dhamma, or rather
Mm-hmm.
Dhammarata, or you guys, like, because the emphasis on the energy, the vigor, like, which
Yes.
is again one of the Sambojana.
Yep.
I don't know why. I don't know what is it. Like, looking back, when I was practicing meditation and all that, nobody emphasized on the energy.
Right.
Again, like it's not. Yeah, like we talk about this in many different language, like how Dhammarata say, I can handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like even like the Buddha's path, like, are you up to the task, basically?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this sort of like, I mean, if you want to talk, I was thinking about it. There's another metaphor way to paint this, which is like, people often talk about the feminine and the masculine, and like, I was thinking like that's what it is, like the masculine, which is like on top of it, can handle this. There's an energy like, wow, that's sort of pity. Those are some
Piti
very
is a good way to put it. That's
masculine.
another Sambojjhanga.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Joy.
That's a
So yeah, so masculine
right,
and feminine is one way to say it. We could also say hard and soft, you know? And
right,
that mindfulness is the controller that keeps it in balance.
right,
Yeah, because remembering to look at the Satipatthana mindfulness, remembering to practice correctly right now, that's what lets us see, hey, am I going too hard? Do I have too much energy right now? Let me relax. So it balances it. Oh, am I too relaxed right now? Let me get my juice up. Oh, I could do this. It's a balancer. That's the mindfulness is the balancer. It's called the controller of the awakening factors because of that. Because when we remember to look, when we keep in mind the Dhamma, we have mindfulness, then we look and we see that. We see, oh man, I got my joy juice going. Sometimes we'll see, oh, I got a bit too much joy going on. Let me get some contentment. Okay, yeah, let me relax. How nice. Wow. But it's not in the way, like you were talking about, of paranoia. It's in the way of, I know this is what is good. I know this is the path. That's why we talk about
right,
doubt being removed when someone sees the Dhamma, when their Dhamma eye opens. They have no more doubt
right,
about what is and is not the path. They know what the path is. And so maybe it takes them, what the stream enterer said, it might take 7 lifetimes, but maybe it just takes them
right,
7 mind moments. I don't know. But
right,
even if they do take 7 lifetimes, they know the path, so they're going to wake up. They're going to chuck out the dukkha. They're going to get into a state of composure and see
right,
how things are and relax. So that's the nice thing about seeing the Dhamma like we talk about and talking about the Dhamma like we talk about is we know the path. We can see the path. We know what is and is not the path, and we know how to practice correctly. So when we stay in a group of people practicing correctly, like you were talking about with friendship and meeting Dhammarato and us meeting you and everything like that, when we stay in good communion, you could even say, with good people that are practicing like that, and not good in a moral sense, just good in a sense that they're together. They have that right view and they're looking and they're seeing and they're changing. And they're practicing seeing and quenching dukkha, But when that happens, they're guaranteed to go ahead and develop the Noble Eightfold Path,
Right.
which results in right knowledge and right liberation.
Right. I'm so glad you said this because I almost forgot. I mean, I said this before, but I again, I don't know why I forget. Like, the Noble Eightfold Path is something you put together.
Yes,
Is like the Buddha show you how, but it is up to you to put them together.
that's right.
So when we say it this way, it becomes such a playful joy. Like, you play with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
It's just
right.
so much more nicer when we remember it this way. It's like, wow, this is something I put together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, obviously, because when you see it this way, it makes sense to how should I put this? Like, be on top of it. Like,
Yes.
this is right, and it's not a burden. I don't know. Like,
Mm-mm.
I
Perfect
feel
way
like
to
sometimes
say.
maybe right, like back then there's this idea. Again, when I'm not paying attention, sometimes no boy, full pop.
Yeah, I
Make it so,
have to practice.
make it right. I
Yeah.
have to practice.
Right. and so right then and there, if we have our mindfulness, we see, oh, look at that, it's a little sluggish. Let's put some joy in it, and we make a change, we make an
Right,
adjustment, we get joyful. We practice being happy then,
right,
practice that, and then we see how
right,
that is. And so eventually what happens is we end up with these factors fully developed, So after much repetition, these factors become fully developed to include the factor of remembering, the factor of mindfulness. That means that we're doing a really good job of staying on the ball, of remembering to look, that we're remembering to look so often it's starting to become a really well practiced habit. We're really starting to get the ball rolling in the direction of the noble Dhamma. So now we've got mindfulness, we're looking very often, and we're remembering more and more
right,
often to look. We're remembering more and more often to abandon unwholesome thought. And that means that those factors
right.
are coming more and more into balance as well. They're no longer moving up and down, kind of like how people talk about their
Mm,
body jumping sometimes when they talk about starting meditation. Oh, I'm having kriyas. Really, we could say they're learning to sit still. But at the same time, when they practice, the enlightenment factors at first, they're bouncing because we're getting used to them. We're getting used to thinking in that way, to picking up that new wholesome habit. But after a period of
right,
time, with mindfulness becoming stronger and stronger, more and more practiced, more and more repetition has been carried out of remembering to look, so it's become more and more of a habit. So now that these factors are starting to balance out as well. When we're starting
mhm,
to know, like you talk about right effort, just enough effort, we're starting to know what just enough effort looks like. Oh, wow. So we practice it more and we investigate more and we learn more. And eventually it comes to the
right,
point, after sufficient repetition, doing it again and again and again, that it's smooth sailing. Things are nice. We have a dynamic balance going. We're very equanimous, you could say. We're not getting mad anymore.
mm,
We're seeing that before it even comes up. Wow, how nice it is to not get very mad anymore. I'm not blowing my top at
mm,
everybody that drives. Oh, wow, look at that. I don't do road
right,
rage anymore. It just doesn't happen. How nice. And why doesn't it happen? Because I
right,
paid attention. And I saw the danger in
mm,
the unwholesome thought. I saw where things are going, and I saw that it's just stupid to get fired up for no reason. It doesn't change how
right,
anybody drives. It just makes me drive
right,
worse.
right. And this sort of successful feeling is so
Mm-hmm.
nice to have
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, in the conventional world, when again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, if people don't pay attention in the conventional world, like, success has something is tied to, how should I put this, a certain pride, and
Yes.
but it's unwholesome, it's stressful to maintain. Over here, this sort of successful feeling we talk about is such a joy. Like
Yes.
you because you could see clearly. Because I don't know how else to put it. Maybe this is not a very noble way of phrasing it, but one thing I can think of is like, because you're winning the the real battle to be fought. I mean,
Yeah, the
well,
way
like,
that I would
because
probably say it is that that kind of feeling,
Mhm.
that kind of pleasure is free and easy because there's nothing to it. Yeah, so we don't
Mm.
have to worry about that kind of pleasure, that kind of happiness. We don't have to worry about it
Right,
sneaking up and biting us because there's nothing to it. It's
right.
not attached to worldly things. So it doesn't come and go. It doesn't fall apart. It's just okay because it's not caring
Mm,
anymore about, oh, it needs to be like this, or oh, it should be like that, or oh, poor me, woe is me. We don't think like that anymore because we see the
mm,
danger in those thoughts. We see what those lead to. A lot of the times they lead to people killing themselves. That's the kind of thing that comes
right.
from that kind of a thought. Nothing good. When those thoughts become
Mm,
overwhelming, people commit suicide. So
uh,
like our friend Adilio said in there, freedom from hindrances is a relief. Not
mm,
not needing something else to put in their place, but rather knowing that I don't need anything.
mm,
Wow, how nice that is. I'm actually I'm
mm,
okay right now. That's why, and I know you and I have talked about this before, when people call me and they want to talk about meditation, I talk to them about how to practice being successful at breathing in and out.
mm,
Oh, look at this. I'm going to breathe in right now. Wow, I did it. Oh,
mm,
I'm going to breathe out right now. Wow, I did it. This is a good
mm,
meditation practice. This is the
mm,
way to go because this is practicing that joy. It's practicing changing
mm,
that mood. It's practicing being successful. And nobody does
mm.
anything without practicing it. So if we want to be successful at
Right,
meditation or at Dhamma or whatever we're talking about, let's practice being successful right from the start. Let's not practice failing.
right.
So that's why that's the best. Oh, what should it be for starting meditation? Breathe in and know that you're breathing in. That's the start of the
Mm,
Anapanasati Sutta, isn't it? And it's the same thing that we're
right.
saying when we say, yeah, breathe in and celebrate that you did it. Okay, I'm going to watch myself breathe in. Wow, I did it. It sounds so funny,
Right.
but it's such a relief because you're setting
You
out to
know,
do something and you're doing it and
mm,
you're showing yourself right away, oh, look at that. I don't actually need the bar. The
mm,
bar, I could set the bar anywhere. I could set it so
right.
low. I don't even have to finish the first breath. I could die right in the middle of it and I've succeeded at breathing in. I didn't say I have to breathe
Mm,
out. So
mm,
these are the things that we can think about with this kind of stuff is we could start to play with thought and see that, yeah, this is a real thing. We condition ourselves like this. We tell
right,
these stories. And this is part
right.
of Satipatthana as well. Can we see these stories? Can we see that they're inconstant? Can we see that we grasp at them and can then we let them go? Can we see the
Right.
dispassion that is developed when we see the
Mm,
inconstancy of all of these things that are coming and going? And none of it is even here for a second. It's all here for maybe a moment. And while it's here, it's changing, falling apart, getting old, dying.
mm,
And then when it falls apart, can I let it go? And can I see that everything is like this? And so I develop what we could call the psychological flexibility to go ahead and be okay
mm,
regardless of what is happening right now or not happening. Can I
yeah,
detach from sensuality, from sensual desire?
right,
Yeah.
right.
And just enjoy what is really, truly a very pleasant feeling, which is being okay, not
Mm,
needing anything, not wanting anything to
yeah,
be different from how it is right now.
right. Like, sensual view is something we pick up along the way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
kids don't really have much sensual view. They're just happy most
Mm-hmm.
of the time. And like, I like how you were talking about, like, wow, how nice this is. I'm not doing this. Wow, how nice it is. I'm not doing that. that is a thought free of sensual view, like
Yes.
because you yeah, because you are rejoicing in what is already here. It just
Yeah.
depends on can you see it. And
Exactly.
also just really yeah. And like I remember um years ago before I met Dhamma, I met Cattell,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me this. He talked a lot about congratulation.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know whether that's something he intentionally want me to pick up, or he just say because he's so joyful in the practice, he just can't help saying it. You know, it could
Yeah.
be either.
Right.
But one thing for sure is I picked that out. I picked that
Mm-hmm.
congratulation part. And it's so interesting. Like I don't even know much. I mean, obviously, because I don't even know much about Dharma at that time. But I picked that part out.
Mm-hmm.
I, you could almost say that was the point right there, and then it arose a confidence in me
Yep.
that I was like, this guy know what he's talking about. I'm gonna listen. I want to talk to him more.
Yeah.
You know,
Isn't
like
that
what
a
the
good
fuck? Like
feeling?
no one, no, yeah, no. This is the crazy shit. You know, like
Yeah.
no one. Again, maybe I no. I want to say maybe I wasn't paying attention, but fuck it. I'm just gonna say I'm pretty sure fucking no one talks about this shit. No one talk about feeling like a winner. No one talk about congratulating. You know, people just
Yep.
in the spirituality, they're just this very weird fucking um being undisturbed, like very stoic, you know,
Yes.
and that sort of peaceful, tranquil feeling. But no one talk about that fucking yeah, like you fucking did it, congratulations, you know, like
Right.
good job, like it's so fucking simple, but no one
Mm-hmm.
talk about.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about with the signal to noise ratio. Someone that knows how to practice
It.
correctly, when they talk, you're going to see it. Like our friend Cathal, you're
Yeah,
going to hear it in them
yeah,
because you're going to go, what is he talking about? And why does he seem like he doesn't care if I know what he's talking about? And then you'll look into it yourself and
yeah,
you'll see, oh, wow, I can feel how I want to feel right now. I don't have to feel the way that
yeah,
I think that I should feel. And so then we
mm,
start to practice changing, and being able to change the feeling, that is really liberating. To go
right,
from, oh shit, that is that, to, oh, I'm okay. That is really liberating. Wow, I'm okay. Hey, I'm all
yeah,
right. I got this. I'm on
right,
top of it. So to change that
right,
way that we look at things and think of things and recognize things is very powerful. It makes the mind very malleable. It makes it very flexible. And
mm,
that flexibility means that it's not going to get trapped in any kind of like static form anymore. It's not going to try and do that to itself anymore because it sees that it hurts. So then it becomes very
mm,
flexible.
Hey
mm.
guys,
Hello, Danica.
Hey, hey.
how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Um, I don't know how to answer that question.
That's okay. Not sure works then.
Hi,
Right,
how are we doing? Yeah.
dude. I'm gonna start saying that when people ask me in real life how am I doing, I'm just gonna smile and say not sure.
Not sure. Let's see.
Sorry, Danica, I cut you off. What you
No,
wanna say?
it's okay. I was gonna say that I had
Mm,
a therapy session
Hmm,
today with a new person. And it
mm,
went pretty well.
nice.
Went really well. And it, brought back up some stuff and I don't know. I think I just feel pretty sad. I'm
Hmm.
also very hungry. So I'm probably just hungry.
Yeah, take care of that
Yeah.
body too. But yeah, it's okay to be sad. Nothing wrong with being sad. You could feel sad or you could change it. But it's good to know that you can do what you want to do and handle what you want to handle. So that's the thing that we can remember as well is no problem with sadness. We can change how we feel about sadness too. Sadness is okay. No problem. I could smile the whole time that
mm,
I'm sad.
mm,
Happily knowing that I can deal with the sadness. Hello, sadness, my old
mm,
friend. Glad
mm,
that you have come to talk with me again.
Yeah, that's true. Like I was trying to like make my sadness go away, but like
Right.
I don't need to make it go away. It's fine. I
Yeah.
just I kind of wanted to cry, but like I don't feel like I don't know. I thought I was gonna come on here and cry, but I don't think I want to cry anymore. So
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I find with my sadness, if it ever does come up, then I see it, and hey, sadness, how are you? I'm happy to see you. And then I don't really feel like I have to cry anymore. I can just be with what is, be with that feeling, be with that experience, be with that thought, be with that memory. Oh, yeah, it's not so bad. I can do it. I can handle it.
Right. I suddenly thought of something very relevant to what you guys are saying. Um, I was thinking about like rage baiting. Like it's very easy to fall for it if you don't pay attention to the thought of like I cannot handle this.
Yes.
But if you see the rage bait happening and you have a thought of I can handle this, no biggie.
Yep.
Like there's, I mean the anger might be there, but you don't
Cause you,
pick it up,
yeah, you stop
not
feeding
because
it
of
fuel.
right, not because of some endurance thing. It's just because you
Right.
have a thought of I can handle this. And again, when you can handle this,
Mm-hmm.
where's the stress?
Yeah. Right.
So, right, it's the
Yeah.
same thing with this like unpleasant feeling, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
because if you understand on the back of your mind again through repetition of practice again
Yes.
and again, you just have a thought of I can handle this.
Yeah. I got this feeling.
Because
Just a painful feeling.
yeah, right. It's so much easier. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
As
it's
soon as I
so
see
much
it, I
easier.
know that it's falling apart. I don't have to
Right.
maintain it. It'll take care of itself. Hello, sadness. Come here. Let me take care of you. I'll take care of you just like I take care of the painful feeling. No problems.
Right.
Yeah, when we don't have any problems with ourselves anymore, it becomes very nice to take care of ourselves. Mental health becomes something that naturally happens. Because then we're
Mm,
going ahead and we're putting the mind into this nice salve. The nice salve of the calming thoughts. Oh, yeah, I see that. I see that sadness. Or, oh, I remember that thought. I remember that experience. Or, I'm having this memory or whatever. And it'll come up and you can see it just like it is. Hello, hello, memory of Iraq. Hello, memory of old friend. Hello, memory of this. How are you? Glad that
mm,
you've come to visit me again. Happy to see you. And here's the door.
right. Right.
Yeah, and then we don't have to worry anymore. Just treat it like an old friend. Hey, here you
Right.
are. I'm busy. There's the door. I'll see you later.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and what am I busy doing? I'm busy being okay. I'm busy being here with what is
Right.
here right now. Busy not dwelling in the past, not dwelling in the future, just dwelling happily in this present moment.
Right. And this is
Yeah.
just really, just really quickly. I really like what you just said about the busyness because again, in the ordinary mundane world, where people that don't practice it this way,
Hmm.
people get busy by actually being really busy. They start being
Yes.
distracted, right? They do a lot of work. They, go out a lot. They do this like very fun adventure and blah,
Hmm.
bunch of weird self improvement journey, and all of this is to distract themselves from
Yeah.
whatever that's on the background,
Hmm.
the underlying tendency, that the is it in the Dhamma Pali language is
Yes.
asu.
Asava.
How do you pronounce it? Asava? Yeah,
Asava.
asava.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. So, but over here, we do it a bit differently. I'm busy being okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm busy enjoying having nothing to do.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, this is
Yeah. Very, very
so
easy, very simple. What do I do?
right.
Nothing. Enjoy it. Enjoy doing
I,
nothing.
I know I say this a lot, but I still gotta say this again. You can't find this thing anywhere. Like
Anywhere.
I mean I I I read so much psychology bullshit. I I read so much book. I listened to so much. No one talk like this.
Yeah.
No one. It just
It's
the world
difficult
has
for a regular, untrained person that has not had a lot of signal come through the noise to understand. Even in the scriptures, when they talk about that one, meditate like a thoroughbred, the Dewas are there and they tell the thoroughbred, oh, we do not understand the basis of your meditation. And in the modern language, it would be something they could say as, we don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean you don't care and you
Right.
don't want? That would be how they would say it nowadays. What do you mean do nothing and be happy? You know, that would be what the Dewa is saying when they're telling the thoroughbred, we don't understand the basis of your meditation. We don't get it. That's even the Dewas say that, but they know, but that guy's happy. That thoroughbred is happy. You know, and so we don't get it, but we see that they're doing it, and so we sing their praises. Even the Dewas do that in the scriptures. So think of a human person, you know, that has so much to contend with in their life. You know, they're not Dewas, they even have a body. Some of the Dewas are, you know, they're immaterial even, but these humans even have a body to take. So think about all the noise that's there, you know. Even the Dewa with barely any suffering says, man, I don't get what you're talking about, but I see that it's working. You know, so many people have a hard time getting the Dhamma signal through the noise of the mind. And what it comes down to is, can they get into seclusion? That's why another reason why that first part of Anapanasati is about getting into seclusion. Can they get into seclusion from the world? Can they get out of the world? You know, he talks about going to the forest, going to an empty hut. Here in our Sangha, we talk about getting in your car or the bathroom for 10 minutes and locking the door, you know, somewhere that you feel safe, somewhere that you feel secure, comfortable, you know, somewhere that makes it really nice and easy to see, to see that you can be content, that you don't have to be chasing a sensual desire right now. Because remember, that's the other part of Anapanasati, is he says it's quite secluded from the worldly, you know, pleasures, from the worldly desires, you know, and that can be anywhere. You know, it doesn't have to be a forest or an empty hut. That's just what was common then. I mean, it's still common now. You can go to the forest and immediately you see, oh, I'll have different thoughts here in the forest than I will in the city. You know, naturally that happens. So can we get into seclusion? If we're on Discord, can we get into this kind of seclusion where the topic is Dhamma? And, you know, we're not here to talk about, oh, this is so bad and that's so bad. We're here to talk about, hey, here's how we practice handling things. Here's how we practice being our own refuge. Here's how we practice, you know, cleaning up the mind and having good mental health, you know, good mental hygiene. Here's how we train to have greater psychological flexibility, you know, to be able to think in a way that we see and quench our suffering, you know. So when we think of it like that, that's really important. Can we do that? You know, because that's another way that we can enhance the signal to noise ratio to get more opportunities for the Dhamma signal to punch through the noise of the mind. And we can then have things happen like Danica said. Yeah, I felt like I was going to cry, but then I came on here and we started talking and listening, and I think I'll be okay now. I can handle this. I remember. You know, so she got the Dhamma signal. It punched right through the noise of the mind. Boof, done. Oh, yeah, I remember how to do. I could do that. I've done that before. I could do it again. You know, so, yeah, so seclusion, you know, safe, secure, comfortable, contented, satisfied. And thoughts of that, too. That's the other thing, is thoughts of, I'm safe right now. That's not a thought that is, you know, a thought of sensual desire. That's actually a thought that relaxes the body, you know, and calms it and brings it towards peace. You know, in MN19, in the two kinds of thought, or the twofold thought sutta, that's what the Buddha talked about. He talked about, it's one of the most clear instructions on how to practice in the whole Pali Canon, is MN19, you know. Hey, look at your thoughts. There's two kinds of thoughts. Thoughts that lead to stress, thoughts that lead to freedom. You know, the kinds of thoughts that lead to stress are thoughts of harm, you know, thoughts of ill will, thoughts of insufficiency, thoughts of lacking. Like we talked about earlier, thoughts of being like victimized, these sorts of things of, oh, I can't handle it, I can't do it, I don't have enough. These thoughts are just not useful. You know, they're not skillful. They don't lead to peace. They don't lead to awakening. You know? So yeah, so let's have thoughts like that. Safe, secure, comfortable, contented, satisfied, simple, no problems.
Exactly.
Nothing to worry about. Nothing to do.
Mm.
Nowhere to go. Everything's already okay. Spring
Mm.
comes, the rain falls, the grass grows all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts like that are nice thoughts. We can have them as often as we want to, and they never lead to harm. They never lead to going out and harming someone. Oh, I have to go harm that person. No, no, I don't have to do that right now. You know, you can see the very difference in those two thoughts right there. I don't have to do that. One leads to peace. One leads to not peace. One leads to a bunch of cranked up turmoil, pain.
Mm.
And they always hurt the person first. They always drink the poison and hope someone else gets hurt first.
Right.
That's what
Right.
anger is a poison that hurts us, you know, and it's like I also love food. Food is good, it's tasty. It's nice to look at food and know that I'm maintaining the body right now, you know. And it's
Mm.
nice to practice not being a slave to the desires of food. Just
Mm.
like anything else, when we don't grasp at it, it's more enjoyable. You can have a better time. You know, if I grasp at
Right.
things, I want to be food when I grow up. It's a very noble aspiration. You will be, eventually. We all will be worm food one day.
I love that.
Yeah, one day we'll all be food again. We all have been food before. We'll all be food again. I mean, it could be. I don't know. You'd be in kind of a rush, I guess, but you never can tell. And that's something the Buddha tells us. Keep in mind that you never know. When it's your time, it's your time. So you may as well practice
Mm.
now.
Right. I love that. Like the Buddha is so fucking hardcore. I mean, in a fucking good way. Like
Yeah.
people, like you would thought that, oh, if you have a very difficult situation, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to practice. No, the
Yeah.
Buddha was like,
Yeah. He said, look at
you
that.
can practice.
Situations are difficult. You better practice.
Right.
Yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh
Situation.
said it too. He talks and he says,
Mm.
you know, if I was on a plane that was crashing, he says, what I would do is I would practice breathing in and out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the thing about it. You know, there's really not anything else to do but to practice to be okay right now. Even if
Right.
it's a plane that's crashing. And guess what? All these planes that we're on are crashing. All these bodies that we're lugging around are crashing. They're not getting younger.
Right.
You know? And so, really, what is there
Right.
to do but to practice being okay? Because guess what? There's going to
Right.
come a point in time. Our friend Michael pointed this out last night. It was very skillful and very beautifully said. There's going to come a point in time when you're not going to be able to satisfy the desires of the body anymore. And then the mind is going to
Mm.
freak out. You know, so
Mm.
guess what? We never rise to the occasion, but we know that that occasion is coming. We know it. We see it everywhere. That's the five holy messengers that they talk about with the dead person and the sick person and the poor person and all the suffering that the Buddha saw when he left the palace that convinced him, oh shit, it's coming. You know, like those four mountains that are closing in on the king. You know, one from the
Mm.
east, one from the west, one from the north, one from the south, and they're all closing in. And he tells the king, they're coming. What are you going to do? And he goes, well, the only thing that makes sense to do to practice. You know, because guess what? That's how it is for everybody. It's coming. There's going to come a point in time, and it will never know when it is. You know, I had friends that lost limbs in combat and such. They didn't know they weren't going to be able to walk to satisfy their body's desires anymore, and so it caused them a lot of pain that they did not practice ahead of time. You know,
Mm.
unnecessary pain. And this is going to happen to everyone. We see it. Everyone experiences aging and sickness
Mm.
and death and all of that. You know, so
Mm.
what are we going to do? We have the four mountains closing in. Well, we're going to
Mm.
practice. We're going to let go. We're going to figure out
Mm.
how to go ahead and do this dealing with reality thing in a way that doesn't hurt ourselves and doesn't hurt others anymore. And we're going to have a
Right.
strong determination to do that.
Right. So true. So nice to hear this and remember this and
Yes,
practice
it
this
is.
over and over and over.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you, Danica. Good chicken.
What did you say?
Happy
Chicken
now.
is great.
Belly is full. Life worth living. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, it's good to have all that we need right here and right now. It's good to be content. To be a few wishes is one way to say it. To be a few wishes is something to celebrate, something to take joy in. Wow, it's nice to not need very
Oh,
much.
I want to talk about something. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to, yeah, like your thoughts on this. I
Okay.
mean, I know the answer. I
Mm-hmm.
just like to
Good topic.
take
Good
it,
topic for
yeah, take it
potluck.
apart.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Throw it in
Right.
the pot.
So, right. So we hear this a lot in the world, especially, I don't know, this is very Western
Mm-hmm.
self improvement stuff. Because I don't hear this in Asia. I mean, that's a fucking good news, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, you hear this a lot, right? The Maslow hierarchy. Oh, you have the basic needs and the love, the connection, and then the meaning, and on top of it, right? And everyone wants that, like that completion. At least that's what the message is trying to convey,
Yes.
right? And I see that this causes a lot of people stress out. This is something that I see. Heck, I don't even have to go far. I think it was 2 3 weeks ago in Happy Gamer. I was just talking to Dre. I was commenting. Can't remember what was the conversation, but I basically say, like, meaning is stressful. When you have no meaning, heck, it's so much joyful.
Yeah.
But again, I don't blame people. It's hard to people to hear this. Joseph immediately was like, he was being very reactionary. You know,
Mm.
it's like, you talk about that's like abandoning your humanity, and he said it in a very annoyed way.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that's so interesting because for me, right there and then, I'm seeing the conditioning playing out. This is how a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
go, and I get it uh, because we are not talking about nihilism here.
Right.
We are talking about how to be happy, to be joyful.
Yes. Because actually, nihilism is
And
still searching for meaning and not finding it, but pretending you're going to find it
right,
elsewhere. Yeah. Oh, I never find it. I never find it. I never. Oh, there's no meaning. There's no meaning. You know, and then the other way,
right,
the other extreme is everything is so important. Everything means so much all the time. Everything, every detail is essential. I must not lose sight of my meaning. But they both end up in the same
right,
place, very blindly
right,
following feeling, which we know is a trap.
right,
So yeah,
right.
I hear you.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and I like how we talk about things here. We talk about do what you want
Hmm.
and stop doing the things that you don't want, right?
Yes,
It's so simple
yes,
because that to me is an invitation to keep paying attention.
yes.
You're not dragged to this very heavy story, heavy belief, like, oh, you're gonna be okay once you got this and that. No, we over here we flip things around.
Mm-hmm.
You're already okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
And when we see it this way, things really become so much easier. I mean, sure, you still have challenging time, but that's just a conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see and practice. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to bring out is just I think I'm observing my own conditioning and on other people that like, because I see my own conditioning, so I can see on others more
Mm-hmm.
clearly. Uh, yeah, it's just this. I mean, yeah, I think I pretty much said everything. Yeah, it's just a funny thing how it plays out.
one thing that comes up for me is this thought of the difference between self-improvement and what we would call maybe purification of mind, if we were going to say anything like that. And the difference between the two is that self-improvement is always trying to add. It's selfish. It wants more and more. It wants better and better. It wants to get rid of bad and have more good. But when we talk about purification in the way that the Buddha talked about purification of mind or purification of thought, he used the metaphor with the goldsmith. Takes the gold and melts it down and, removes the impurities by smelting it over and over and over again. And as the impurities are removed, the gold becomes more and more malleable. It becomes more and more flexible. Really, it becomes more useful. He can make whatever he wants out of it. So someone that has not practiced doing this, removing the impurities, removing the hindrances, abandoning the unwholesome again and again, they still have not developed what we could call something kind of like the taste for purification, we could say. And I would say that the taste of purification is very beautiful. It's very joyful. It's something that we rejoice at. It's actually the same thing the Buddha was talking about when he talked about joy of renunciation. Because really, taste of purification is just knowing that in this moment, because I'm paying attention, because I'm wakeful, because I'm guarding the mind, and because I'm watching my thoughts and paying attention to what I'm doing, this moment and every moment that comes after it is going to be better. It's going to be not as painful. It's not going to have as much harm to it. So for a person that is still adding, and we could say this is again the difference between a seika and an aseika, or an apprentice and an artisan. The person that is still adding, the person that is on the self-improvement journey still, that's the seika, that's the trainee, the apprentice. They think there's more to add. I need more skill, or I need to get rid of this or that, or I need to change that. This has to happen, then I'll be okay. Whereas the artisan, the one that's practiced, they know, they have knowledge and vision, and they are on the path, and they're let's say very highly skilled. They're not doing that anymore. They're quite simply enjoying themselves. That's the thoroughbred that we were talking about. They're not ever trying to add to or take away or change themselves anymore, because they see there's nothing there to change. There's nothing to it. Any self that is there to improve is empty. So we could do it right now, and the best way to improve it is to just let go of it, chuck it out, be done with it, not worry about it anymore. How nice it is to be okay right now. But that's something the person must practice. Like you talked about, you heard the Dhamma from Cattle, and then you paid attention to what you were doing and you practiced. So we hear it and we practice. We hear it and we practice. And it's just a matter of repetition. Just like friends and other servers, when they talk very bad on themselves for a long time, we don't get mad at them, but we'll tell them nicely at first, and then we'll tell them nicely and harshly, and then we'll tell them harshly, because that's what we're there to do, And then maybe if they don't respond to the harshness, then we'll just time them out for a while. Let them have some time to practice in seclusion. Because that's the thing about it, is we're here to do this certain thing, and this certain thing is to practice feeling okay. In friendship, in communion, in community, So when we have community members that don't want to practice feeling okay, we still help them, we still talk with them. It's not as if we shun anyone or cast anyone out into the darkness, So to be straightforward in a way that maybe somebody does not like, maybe they do not like it, but that does not mean it's crazy to do, or that you're being a harmful person for telling someone in a straightforward manner, look, you're hurting yourself and you're talking in a way that we don't talk here. We don't go ahead and sink to that. We help each other stay out of it. So actively help yourself, help us, help you, because that's the only way it works. If you're not helping yourself, nobody can help you anyways. Or take some breaths, take some time out. So even there we are wakeful and watchful. It doesn't start and end right here in this thought. These thoughts, these actions all have results, and thought is definitely an action that we undertake, and it brings forth results.
Right. Exactly.
So for our other friend Dre, very smart, starting to see a lot. I hear it in them when they talk, and just some
Yeah,
repetition, just
I
some
can see that
repetition.
too.
Yes, right. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, it just need repetition over and over again.
Because then they see for themselves what you're
Uh,
talking about, and then there's nothing to get mad at anymore because they
right,
know what you're saying.
right, right. That's so true. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We are immediately, again, by practicing the way the Buddha is saying, you can see the feeling can be changed.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
And it's not just my feeling, like Danica talked about when she came
Mm-hmm.
on. Her feeling, my feeling this, my words that, my thoughts this, then her thoughts, then her. You get what I'm saying? It's not any one of our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's just feeling, So, and it's always changing. So who we associate with is another way that we carry out that having wholesome thoughts. Just like to have a long breath is to have a wholesome thought because you think about having a long breath, thinking about associating with Sangha, with community of noble practitioners, is this. You know what I mean? So in order to be here, we think about it, You asked me if I wanted to yap earlier. Before you asked me if I wanted to yap, you thought about yapping, So this is the thing, this is
Yeah.
where wholesome thoughts lead, is they lead to
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of sharing of wholesome thoughts, and they're not really any of ours. Like Cathal told you about
Right,
Dhamma. You know what I mean?
right.
And who? Dhammarato told
Mm-hmm.
Cathal about Dhamma. And I also heard Dhamma from Cathal and from Dhammarato and from you. Danica's talked Dhamma.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone over here has shared it back and forth. So it's not as if it's any one of our thoughts. They're just kind of some thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
And here they're wholesome. Here they're leading to peace. Here they're leading to calm, to
Right,
stress, to letting go,
right,
to
And it's
relaxation.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. So true.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the Buddha said the wholesome Dharma is better than the unwholesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more.
And especially when we talk about
Again,
having a choice, like you were saying.
mm,
There's the thought of I don't have a choice or I can't change, I can't do anything about this is that's it, you're done. End of story.
mm,
If we
mm,
undermine the efficacious nature of intentional action, then it's a useless Dhamma. If you can't make a
mm,
change, it's a useless Dhamma. Because then what does it do? It doesn't quench suffering,
exactly.
that's for sure. Oh, stare at the
Right.
suffering. Stare at it, stare at it. You're just pure consciousness staring at the suffering. It's not you. Yeah,
Crazy.
crazy, right? And it's crazy because it's
Craziness.
just a trap. It doesn't actually free you. And so
Right.
that's what the Buddha saw is, oh, look at this. If I actually understand karma, vipaka, if I understand action and result, then I can see that, there's bright action, bright result,
Mm-hmm.
dark action, dark
Mm-hmm.
result, mixed action, mixed result, and action that leads to end of action. And he said that's the way out. That's the way out of this whole mess is to see the action that leads to the end of action. And our friend B had a very good post earlier, I think in our Study Dhamma channel. No, maybe in another one. Who knows which one it was
On
in now.
the Dharma content.
Yes, Dhamma content, where he went and read that sutta, MMN 57, the dog practitioner one, and he talked about it, and he got it right then and there. Oh, so wholesome thought and winner attitude would be the fourth kind? Yep. Being satisfied and joyful
Mm-hmm.
means you're not interested in the other three kind anymore. Yep. And when that happens, everything is right here, right now. We no longer have action and result. We
Mm-hmm.
just have what's here right now, just this. So you can see how that's the action that leads to the end of action. Oh, I want that. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that right now actually. I'm already okay. Bam. That's the fourth kind of karma. And that's the one that is practiced. That is the Noble Eightfold Path.
Right.
Yeah, that is the first jhana. That is dukkha dukkha nirodha. See it,
Right.
quench it. See it, quench it. See it, quench it. That's our karma that leads to the end of karma. That's the one the Buddha
Right.
praised the most highly. Yeah, so it was good to see that. Our friend B saw that and got it. Was happy to get it too. Put a big smiley face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the other day, we posted the conversation that you and me had many months ago. That
Yes,
was
I
like
saw
May,
that. Mm-hmm.
and I was listening to the video. And yeah, I brought out the wait. I lost my train of thought. What was I trying to say? Karma that leads to the end of karma. I was trying to talk about craziness again, like the crazy thing that. No, it's okay. It'll come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were
I lost
talking
my
about
train
our
of.
video from May
Yeah,
that he had shared. Yeah, it will come back. Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, it's crazy to keep on spinning up this process of action and result because you know that every
mm,
time that you get the result, it's never the one that you took action to get. It never is. It's always different. There's always something, at least slightly disappointing. So that
mm-hmm,
satisfaction that you took action in order to gain, it never shows up. You know, so that kind of
right,
karma that leads to the end of action, the action that leads to the end of action, where we say, oh, look at that. Actually, I'm already okay. I don't need that right now. I'm good
right,
enough just like I am. Wham, wham, wham. That cuts off that cycle.
right.
Mm-hmm. Cuts
I
off that
think I
cycle.
think this is yeah, and you know what you just said. I really, speaking from my experience, I really believe this is the only. I mean, I may be exaggerating. I don't know, but like, it's the only way to get out of trauma.
Yeah.
So I say this because the way I see myself years ago, before the Dhamma, I could see clearly whatever mental health problem I was having, struggling with, in life and whatever. I see clearly it is a symptom of CPTSD.
Yes.
It matches a lot of what he's saying. And I don't know what is it, do a lot of self improvement, this mental health and meditation and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It helps, but it doesn't. It never feel freeing. I still feel trapped, like
Right.
just this jail, right? And I think it's so interesting because even in a lot of this community, there's there's a lot of people that voice similarly. Like it just feels so. Oh, I've been years of
mm-hmm.
therapy and still struggling and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and of course it feels very demotivating. Like wow, this
Yes.
shit sucks. Oh, GG, well played. Like oh fuck my life.
Yep.
But like and once I practice a Dharma, I see clearly. Like I mean, at first, of course, because I still don't have enough practice under my belt,
Mm-hmm.
but there's just this undeniable voice inside of me. Like this is the way out.
Yeah.
Like I just like I don't know why. It just so I just keep on it. And again,
Yeah.
back to what you were saying, this thing like action leads to the end of actions.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell, like that's the ticket out.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Right.
You stop
Yes,
doing all this
absolutely.
fucking crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you stop doing all this shit, like this all this fucking crazy thing people we keep doing just
Yes.
to feel okay. Yeah.
Yes, because you can even take it in the idea of OCD light switch flipping, like we said earlier. You know, this action is intended
Right,
to bring about this result. And sometimes it becomes more and more extreme of an example. Oh, it doesn't work anymore when I do it 10 times, I'm going to do it 50. You know, and people can approach meditation in the same way. Oh, it doesn't do it anymore when I sit here for an hour, I'm going to do it 4 hours. You know, and so this is the same idea of putting this thing off. You know, basically we could say that it's kind of like a bodhisattva putting off something that is hard to do. And that thing that is hard to do is to sometimes, when we're not practiced, come out of that cycle of action and result and come into everything is okay right here, right now. For an ordinary person, for someone that's practicing and is not, like you were saying, doesn't have a lot under their belt, a lot of repetitions yet or something like this, it could be difficult for them to see it. They could see it as this huge overhaul when really it gets simpler and simpler and easier and easier.
right.
Mm-hmm. And that is why we take the action that leads to the end of action. And we can do it the first time we catch us light switch flipping. Oh, I don't have to do that right now. Oh, wow, what a relief.
Right.
And that actually is,
Yeah.
in fact, relief from a clinical symptom. So again, the Buddha was always
Right.
known as a physician. He was always talked about as this guy
Right.
that he doesn't just manage the symptoms, he treats the disease.
Right.
And that disease
Goes
is that
straight through.
cycle of action and result, and he goes straight to cutting it right at the root. He sees
Right.
very clearly, he
Right.
understands feeling, and so he goes right to
Right.
clearly cutting right at the root the actions that lead to the
Right.
result of suffering, and says, hey, look, this is the
Right.
way out. Like you just said, this is it. This is the way out. And when you do what he
Right.
says and you pay attention, you see for yourself, oh, this is the way out. Whereas in all of the
Right.
pain management that we endure most of the
Right.
time, especially when it comes to something like CPTSD, like you're talking about, which I'm also familiar with
Right.
as far as symptoms and such, and I think Danica is as well.
Mm.
And this is something that a lot of people tend to go ahead and look for is a way to be okay because they've been hurt in some way, And so
Right.
it is the way out of trauma, because trauma, we talk about trauma responses, but really they're trauma reactions. We could say it's reactivity that is the problem of the trauma, and part of that is because we don't really have a good story to explain what happened. When mom does this or dad does that, or they do or don't do it, or whatever it is, whatever the event is that's traumatic, it could be later on in life too even, we may not have a very good story to explain it, and that means it's not continuous, it's not contiguous, you know what I mean? It's like a break, crack, and the view broke, the lens broke, and now you can't ignore the crack, and so we think the crack is a problem, but the crack is just what happens, like when you drop a glass, it cracks, crack, the crack is just what happens. Stories break because they're not the terrain. The map is not the terrain. So they get old, they get out of date, and they break. They crack. Views and worldviews, beliefs break and they crack. A child might have a belief of Santa Claus existing in childhood, and then it cracks, it breaks, it's traumatic for them in a way because they don't have a reason. Like, well, why the hell did all these adults lie to me? And then they get a reason,
Yeah.
and they're no longer upset. Oh, they did it because it's for fun. Is that a good reason? No, but it's a reason, so the child is no longer traumatized by the loss and the breaking of the belief of Santa Claus. But they did it in a way that's like pain
Right.
management, rather than being able to sit with the child and say, yeah, that's just a story we told. And sometimes stories aren't real, and sometimes they change, and you don't have to hold on to them very tightly, For the time Santa Claus was in your mind, Santa Claus was in your mind. No problem with saying any of that. You're not
Right.
lying to the child, but we
Right.
blow it over. Oh, it's a joke. Oh, haha, it's funny. It's not funny to lie to a child about a magical creature that brings it gifts every year. That's
Yeah.
actually kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
but it's a thing that people do, It's a game that people play.
Right.
And so it gets explained to the child like that, and that becomes internalized, and it becomes identified with, and then all of a sudden they start to, do this with other beliefs. Like when mom and dad aren't
Right.
performing up to standard, basically when they're, neglecting a child in some way, some stories get added in there. Oh, mom's stressed. That's why. No, mom's just not perfect,
Right.
honestly. But for a child to think that,
Yeah.
that's as bad as not being able to believe in Santa Claus anymore. They're not ready to think that, they basically. And so they patch it
Right.
up, patch it up, patch it up. By the time that they're adults, they've got so many patches all over the place, they can barely keep it straight. By
Right.
the time they're middle-aged, they have what everybody calls a midlife crisis, because all that shit's falling apart and not a lot of it makes sense anymore. And it's scary because they
Right.
don't want to look and see that, hey, it's actually empty.
Right.
But that's not a problem. That's part of that joy of renunciation again, is seeing that that
Right.
means that we can make the change right now is actually a joyous thing. Seeing that we're already
Right.
flexible
Right.
enough to handle whatever it is that's taking place in our experience is a joyous thing. But
Right.
in the parlance of therapy, for example, if you don't have a therapist that's there and letting you know, hey, you're doing this, hey, you got it, you're doing it right now, wow, how good, that's a supportive person with their, in your
Right.
journey or whatever you want to call it, then all you have is the word of another. Maybe the therapist isn't saying
Right.
much, you know what I mean? So you keep going to therapy, going to therapy,
Yeah.
going to therapy, and it's nothing anybody is doing wrong, but maybe you just have this idea that, okay, I just got to go again. I just got to keep going. You know, and that's not a bad thought. There's nothing wrong with that thought, but that thought is the same as the guy that, you know, oh, meditation for 1 hour is not doing it. I got to do 2, 3, 4. I got to meditate all day. I
Right.
can't go outside anymore, you know. That is actually the same kind of response that I encountered, for example, when it came to, you know, PTSD having to do with like combat and such like that. So the reactivity that would come from what we would call triggers while out in public that would bring on like hypervigilance and hyperarousal and other such states of like incredible discomfort like that for me was quite simply this idea that I'm going to cut away those things that trigger me rather than train my heart, train my mind to change how it's feeling so that I'm no longer scared, basically. And so this is actually what's known in very simple terms as exposure therapy. But if we're not paying attention, then we get out of balance, you know, then things can become overwhelming in a way. You know, so again, we have that mindfulness, that remembering to look and remembering to change, you know, and the joy. The joy helps us stay with those things that we used to look at as, oh, there's no way I could do that. You know, because when we start practicing being joyful with our health, with our mental states and such like that, then it becomes something that is fun to do, you know. Oh, wow, I'm going to change that out. Wow, I'm glad that I saw that. Now I can change it. Rather than the old, oh, fuck, I hope it doesn't come again. You know, oh, I'm going to stay in meditation for 6 hours because I just can't handle dukkha. I have to get all the dukkha gone before I can be okay. No, be okay while you're dealing with the dukkha even. Oh, look at that dukkha. Ha ha, got it. You know, and that change right there is one that I noticed when I talked with Dhammarato is quite simply when we start to practice like this, you know, one thing that came up for me was this thought of, you know, someone asked me what meditation is, and the best answer I can give is quite simply, I don't care, I'm already okay. I don't care what meditation is, I'm already just fine. I don't care about meditation technique. I don't care. You do whatever technique you want. I don't give a fuck. You know, and when you start to see it like that, you notice, oh yeah, meditation has no shape and no form anyways. It has no, and it's also empty. You know, so I don't need to be in this, that, or the other posture to be okay. I don't need to sit and do this for this long in order to be okay. I can do it right now. I can do it right here, right now. I can get these states, these mental qualities here collected right here, right now, at the drop of a hat, at the snap of a finger. That's how fast the mind is, and once it's trained and it's malleable, once it's flexible, there's really no resistance, we could say, in the circuit. You know, it just moves freely, flexible.
Right. Just two things I want to say. Well, first thing is like, you know, very early on you said like they cannot think that way. I really like that because I was, you know, over here we talk about high quality thoughts.
Yes.
And sometimes a very simple thoughts of I'm already okay. That's a thought we that have practiced under a belt like to have because we know what that means. We feel it. We understand clearly because we pay attention to just right here.
Mm-hmm.
But for people that don't practice well, they cannot think that way. That's like a mantra for them. Like, oh, I'm already okay. You hear this a lot in shit. You know, shit. I don't know. I keep pointing to him because when he said, "I'm already okay," it's like you don't understand. Pay attention. You know.
Oh, that's such a good way to say it. Yes, right.
Right. So it's so interesting because I realize, I don't know. I just when we say it that way, it really, I don't know why. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. You see, like you see, like, hey, yeah, right now you can't have this thought, so practice. You know, like practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget to have the V8.
Right. So yeah.
Yep.
You already have the V8.
Yeah, it's already here. Already have it. Just get it done.
Right.
And then enjoy whatever is here, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so that's a very smart way to say it. Yeah, I like that a lot. It matters the quality of the thought, and we can always We could say improve the quality of the thought. We could make it more wholesome, more skillful. And if we happen to have just a top tier, really wholesome, really skillful, really wonderful, blows the roof off the head thought, then we can make that one more wholesome by congratulating ourselves for having it. So there's no end to this thing. This is why we call it boundless joy. Because if we practice having boundless joy, we see very clearly there's no limit to this. If we want to practice this, then we can practice it and we can blow the roof off the thing. We can get into some really, really good states, and then we can watch them fall apart. Yeah, and we can see how the mind wants to cling, even to just wholesome thoughts it wants to cling. Oh no, let's have another really wholesome thought. Please, 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 just one more wholesome thought. And then we could tell that, oh no, that's okay. We're already okay. Yeah. So there's no end to boundless joy. That's why it's boundless,
Right.
Yeah. And when we
so
practice
true.
seeing like that, we really get to see that there's nothing to all this stuff. You know what I mean? This stuff that we thought was like, oh, that's like a high state. Only the highest yogi can attain this, and la 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 la. And then we relax and we practice like this, and we recognize very clearly that this is all of these high states. There's nothing to them, and all of these low states. There's nothing to them. There's nothing to any of these states. Yeah, so why do I care what's here right now? Wow, how nice it is to already be okay. To be free from highs and lows. To be free from heavens and hells. From sinners and saints and gods and devils and all of it. That kind of a freedom is what we're talking about when we're talking about that which is boundless. That's the kind of joy we're really talking about when we're talking about boundless joy. Is all of it. All of it's good enough. We don't actually have to even compare it.
Right. Man, it's so crazy because, we, the noble silence is also a boundless joy. There's nothing to it. Yeah. And, just the last thing I want to say on what you were saying just now, like the exposure therapy and all that. I think it's so interesting because, again, the way I see it, I like to talk about this lately, which is a reference point. You don't really have a reference on how to handle things. You have a lot of stories of struggle. You have a lot of story of you cannot handle this. But when you talk to people that actually practice it this way, like Dhamma or you or whoever, when we talk about this, you can how should I put this? You could see there's a reference point. Wait, I don't have to do it this way.
Yes.
And then you, it's start seeing things a bit differently. This is kind of reminds me of the sutta where the Buddha was talking about what is the food of ignorance, and then it goes down and down and talk about unwholesome thought, and then at last he talks about associating with wrong people.
Yes.
But this is why we talk about the condition of society, and it's not that they are bad people, in the moral sense. It's just like they fucking don't know. They are ignorant, and so when you're around these sort of folks again and again, you're not gonna hear the noble Dhamma. Oh yeah, the sutta was talking about the close approximation of hearing the noble Dhamma and all that kind of thing. And over here, when we are associated with people that practice it, is where you hear the noble Dhamma, and then one thing leads to another, because again, you not only you have to listen, you have to practice.
Yeah.
And then you lead jhana, like we talked about early on, and you lead to this and leads to that, and then you leads to the end of all things. Everything's really okay.
Yeah. How nice that is. What a good point. Yeah, everything's really okay. Not a problem in the world. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Already good enough. Already just fine. Yeah, it leads to the end of things. How nice that is. Just done with it. Had enough of it.
Danica was talking about she's eating chocolate,
nothing to do, nowhere to go, belly full. Life is worth it. Okay, not a problem. Yeah, how nice that is.
Exactly.
And not
Man,
having
thank
a
you. Thank
reference point. You're
you.
welcome. Not having a reference point, that's a good way to talk about trauma as well. Not having a reference point, not knowing how to deal with it.
Mm,
That's what I meant by
mm,
not having a story for it.
mm.
Yeah, not having a
Yeah, yeah,
reference point. Yeah. Whereas other times, like I said, you meet people that our friend Damarado, for example, he was not happy with life. He found, oh, there's a problem here, and so then instead of just doing the same old thing, he went and he found a solution to the problem. He went and he found that Dhamma in
right,
Thailand. And practiced all that time in India and such. And so that's the thing that we can think about is that you have to have those people around you that have a reference point for how to deal with things. And those that have the Dhamma, those that have the noble Dhamma and share it freely with others with no hesitation and such, those people have that reference point. And like you said, you can see it
right,
because you hear it and then you practice it and then you know directly. You're a body witness is what it's called in the
right,
suttas. You witness directly,
right.
you touch it directly with your body, the relief
Yeah.
of noble Dhamma. And when that happens, you don't have any more doubt. Because you see it for
Exactly.
yourself. Yeah, you're like, oops, yep, did it. Oops, did it again. I don't think I'm going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it. It's fun. I like it. I get a kick out of it.
Right.
Yep. And then it's gotcha. Then
Yeah.
the noble Dhamma has you. You've entered the stream. That's why people, when they ask me about it, they say, how do you know you're a stream enterer? When you're wet. Yep. When you're wet, that's when you'll know.
Get that moist.
Exactly. You're not going to have to ask that question anymore. I'll tell you that much.
Right, right, right.
Yep.
For sure, for sure.
Because you're going to look down and you're going to say, hey, I'm soaking wet.
Wow, horribly.
Yep. How nice it is to be soaking wet. Mm.
Well, I think we have been talking for an hour. The recording, is
Yes.
it an
It's
hour?
probably nice and
An
big
hour.
now. Let's see what it says. Yeah, 1 hour and 36. So I'll cut our recording right
Nice,
now. That was both of you guys. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Ivan. Thank you so much, Danica. And I won't hop off the call, but I'm going to cut the recording now. So, hooah.
nice.